wabarakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And we are back. It is currently 3 minutes past 3 p.m. And welcome back to another round of Trending Now Muslim Edition. If you were here last week, you already know what it is. If not, let me fill you in real quick. This is the segment where we dive deep into the latest trends in the Muslim community, what's making waves online, and whether we're here for it or side eyeing it. And of course, joining me once again is my girl, Ummi Kulsum Kambone, who, by the way, is stuck with me for all 4 weeks, so get used to her. A quick intro to Ummi Kulsum. Ummi Kulsum Kambone is a food science and technology graduate, an outdoor enthusiast, and someone who is always looking for meaningful ways to make life worth living. She's bringing her energy, insights, and hot takes to the show, and well as the P-Star Plug's very own social commentator. Our topic for the week is Muslim influences and Ramadan content, real or just aesthetic spirituality. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this week we're low-key struggling to find a topic, but then we decided to go straight for the kill, and oh, it's about to get real over here. So this week we're talking about Muslim influences and their Ramadan content. Is it genuinely inspiring, or is it just aesthetic spirituality? You know what I mean? Those perfectly curated Ramadan mornings, the stunning suhoor spreads, the deep contemplative shots of people making dua in perfect lighting. Is it authentic ibadah or just content creation? Now, before we get into it, let me just name a few that I would label as the it girls in the Muslim online community. We will be name dropping, and I'm just going to put it out there that this is all conversation, not condemnation. We're not here to cancel anyone, just to analyze what's really going on. We have the girls like Aisha Haroon, we have Mariam Malik, we have her sister Nimra Malik, we have Lauren, Lena Assad, the Assad sisters. We have so many really of the it girls in the Muslim community that all have the most aesthetic houses, the most aesthetic suhoor plates, and you know what, I'm here for it. You go, girl. But it's about making sure that what you're portraying to your viewers is real and authentic. And so with that being said, let us welcome Ummi Kulthum Kambone. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Trending Now. I'm so excited to be here once again.
We are so excited to have you on, girl. I think let's just get straight into it. My first question is: many influencers share their perfect Ramadan morning routines. Do you think these portrayals help motivate people, or do they set unrealistic expectations?
Very interesting because there's so many different routines that we are seeing. You already named the girls that are doing the Ramadan content, and we're not gonna bash them because they're doing a pretty good job. They're showcasing some really nice things. They show us their from the time they wake up for suhoor up until they go to sleep after tarawih or whatever. But I think there's like two sides to this coin. Okay, sometimes the content can be inspiring and sometimes it can just be like mentally and also spiritually draining because they are just overworking themselves. Also, I feel during the month they've got such a busy schedule and they just the day is jam-packed, and the reality of the matter is Ramadan is not about showing us how long you can go and how much you can do while you're fasting. And no, it's about ibadah and also taking some time out to rest as well. No one is saying you must be a superhero and do a million things during the day. So it can be inspiring because it then shows you that, like, okay, people are out there, they're doing things, they're keeping themselves productive, and they're also continuing with their normal lives even during Ramadan. But also at the same time it can make you feel like, but you're lying because I get tired. So yeah, there's
Definitely.
it's 50-50. So
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that that is, well, the most honest answer, really, because as much as they're doing their work is amazing, and it keeps us all entertained, but sometimes it just doesn't seem real. My next question is, the aestheticization of worship has become common online. What point does showcasing ibadah turning to performing for an audience rather than for Allah? A bit of a deep one, I'm sorry, but I mean,
You know, I every week you're gonna just put me in the spotlight, you're gonna throw me in the deep end, and then I was just like, oh, how do I answer this without sounding like I'm just rambling? But it's okay. We're here for interesting conversations, so let's spill the tea.
definitely.
Okay, so you know, I think I'd say, because I'm gonna be very honest and very vulnerable on this platform, right? At some point in my life, I also wanted to be an influencer. I wanted to be a content creator. I
Me
wanted
and
to
you
be a
both.
YouTuber, created a YouTube channel, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. And then once you get into it, you realize that, oh, okay, wait, content creation is a lot of work, right? It takes a lot of physical energy. You have to plan it. It's very much curated content. As much as we want to show you our real lives, or well, a portion of our real lives, but it's very much curated because you plan these things ahead. So when it comes to like the Ramadan content, for instance, we see the girlies are vlogging themselves when they're praying Fajr. After Fajr, they are reading Quran, or doing some journaling or whatever, and it looks cute. And I'm not gonna lie, on the days where I am a little demotivated and I come across Aisha's videos, for example, she does the Ramadan daily thing every day, and when I watch it, and then I'm like, oh, she has the energy to do it, let me also get up and stop being lazy. But I think with the creator themselves, I think there has to be a balance between how much you actually vlogging, and how much of it is actually like you how deeply in your spirituality you are. Because when you start putting in so much effort in doing the actual content creation, and you're not so much like into your acts of ibadah, then I think that becomes a problem. Because I mean, to be honest, I've tried the vlogging myself while praying thing, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you, it is difficult for you to concentrate fully, to maintain like 100% khushu in your salah. Because for example, your camera is on, this thing is recording me, and you just tend to sort of like, you're like, "Ah, I hope that when my hands are folded, I hope it looks good. I hope that the angle that the camera is in is not making my nose look too big. When I go down for ruku, I hope, you're just so conscious about so many things, and then it takes away from the essence of what ibadah is. So I mean, I would like to hope, because we always give people the benefit of the doubt. So I'd like to hope that when they do create such content, I hope that it's not so much focused on the content creation, but also they do, delve into the deep spirituality of their acts of ibadah, that they are actually having meaningful connection with Allah during that time. Also, I think, they don't really record the whole thing. It's just like a short, clip of them either reading Quran or praying salah, whatever. So I guess, just to be nice, we'd say that they just sort of show us a small segment, cut the cameras, and continue with their ibadah, whatever. So yeah, I think people's perspectives may vary, but for me, I think you must know when is enough, and don't put in too much effort in the content creation, and you're not giving in your ibadah.
Mm, definitely, definitely. I think that everything you said is just so true, because all of us had our influencer eras and we said, you know what, I'm gonna be the next, I don't know who. But it becomes awkward. Like, if you're being honest, it's awkward. Holding your camera up like this when you are in public. You know what
Girl,
I mean? All of that, it's awkward. And as you
it's
can
all
have as much confidence, social anxiety is scared of you, but at the end of the day, you're making it awkward for yourself, making it awkward for other people.
exactly.
But so in that sense, it's hard for everyone. And then also, yeah, your ibadah gets affected, and it doesn't matter how much you say, I know I'm recording, but my khushu is there. But okay, is the angle hitting me right when I go into ruku? Like, ish,
Exactly.
is my whole body gonna fill up the
Yes.
camera type thing? And then you have the ones where there's POV of going into sajda and stuff. It's like you're not making salah. You just recorded that.
Exactly, exactly. You have to
Ex-
know like what content is real and what's actually just for the sake of, So yeah, when you're watching these things, you watch this content, and you sort of at the back of your mind, you know that like, okay, this is not 100% real, but I do know that there are some people that are gonna watch that and they're gonna think, oh my god, did you see how she went into sajda? Am I not doing mine properly? Girl, sit down. She is just recording a video. Not real. She's just trying to make this reel look as cute as it possibly can. So just continue going on about your thing and don't think that you are not praying, well enough, or you're not. Yeah, no, it's just content, and don't really take it to heart. I don't think we should consume it to that level.
Definitely, definitely. I think going into my next question, or really just a point that we're gonna have a conversation about, is a specific influencer that I myself didn't know was Muslim until this Ramadan. She goes as Gloria. She's the one that does all the makeup for like darker skin girlies. And like if you know her, right? And so I always followed her for her makeup content and everything. And then when I saw that she was doing Ramadan, I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, girl, you do your Ramadan. But I think one I want to call it an issue, but one thing that really triggered me when I watched her videos was before Seri, she goes to the gym. After Seri, she goes to the gym. Then she goes for Pilates. Then she goes running 6 miles. Then she does yoga at home. And I was like, okay, I know people go to the gym during fasting, but she did running, yoga, Pilates, gym, all before
No,
10
no,
a.m. Um,
red flag.
I mean, guys, so with that being said, my question to you is that some influencers make fasting seem effortless. How important is it to show the struggles of Ramadan instead of just the highlights?
So, you know what? That firstly, let's just track back a little bit. Her content, let me tell you something that is not real. She is lying through her teeth. Astaghfirullah. You're fasting and you're lying to us that you're doing all these things. There's no way. There's no way. What do you mean you're exercising before suhoor, after suhoor? You're doing like three different things. Slow down. Like I said, just now, that Ramadan is not about, you showing us, how active you can be, or how long you can go before you eat at Maghrib or whatever. No, I think it's very important for us to understand that during Ramadan, you are going to struggle. You're supposed to struggle. That's the whole essence of the month of Ramadan. It's a month that teaches you how to sacrifice, and it teaches you self discipline, right? It teaches you, how to have full yaqeen in Allah. So even when you are hungry and you are tired, because you are going to be tired, there's going to be days where you just can't do it. Like for example, myself last week was like my worst week yet. I was just very tired. I didn't have energy to do the things I was doing right at the beginning of Ramadan. During the day, I was like, oh, I just want to sleep. I'm just exhausted. But the whole point of Ramadan is for you to feel that, but also at the same time to keep on nourishing your soul by asking Allah for help to make it easier for you, right? It's not about getting up and saying, okay, fine. I'm going to fight this and I'm going to go to the gym. No, that's not what Ramadan is. It's here to teach you perseverance. It's here to teach you how, when things are difficult, you call out to Allah. When you're finding it difficult to fast that day, maybe you're very hungry, and you are going to be hungry. No one said you eat in the morning so that you full up until Maghrib Adhan. No, you're going to be hungry. You're going to experience fatigue. You're going to be all kinds of exhausted, even mentally. But the point is for you to experience that, so you reach out to Allah. It's Allah's way of reminding us once a year that things are going to be tough in your life, whether it's just a season or even if it's an everyday thing, but you're going to have tough phases in your life. And I'm going to need you to know and learn how to rely on me and reach out to me during your difficulty, but also not just in difficulty, also when things are good. I need you to be able to reach out to me and thank me and be sincere in it. So, our content creators showing us that, they just have long days of doing this and doing that. And I'm just like, oh, please, you're lying. We all know that firstly, you wake up for suhoor and you're just so groggy. As for me, I don't even want to speak. My family will tell you that they will not even get a word out of me in the morning. They'll only hear my voice when I wake up again after my fajr sleep. So if you're going to come and show me your content and you're doing this and you're doing that, please don't lie. But I mean, at the same time, I think realities differ based on who you are and where you live. So sometimes we look at a content and we think like, nah, she's lying, that's not real. But other people maybe actually do live that way. And, for them, it's like, oh yeah, this is real content. I like this. This girl is being so real. So it just depends, where you are, how you grow up, how's your everyday life going. And then it obviously just depends on how you view that kind of content. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. You really ate that up, girl. So
Period.
we have two comments. We have two comments. One from my favorite listener, Mahdia.
Mahdia, of
She's Mahdia says, lovely way to sum it all up. If your intentions are correct, Alhamdulillah, but never at the expense of your actual connection with Allah, which I think is
course.
so true. It's so true.
Yes.
And then we have from our previous guest, Qasim, that he says, the challenge of being hungry is the experience you need to reach out to Allah. Felt that.
Yes.
And
100.
again, 100%, it's about connecting with Allah. It's about making sure that your ibadah is on the next level during Ramadan. That's all it's about,
That's all.
So let's focus on our ibadah, on being hungry. Focus on being hungry. It's fine to be hungry, to be exhausted. So doing three exercises, like it's okay if that, you know.
Like,
But
no,
anyway,
and it's best. I think people forget that, Ramadan, as much as, yes, it's a month where we should intensify our ibadah and we should do more and put in more effort, but people forget that you also need to take some time out to rest. It's okay for you to rest. Wallahi, it is not haram for you to take a nap. In fact, it's even a sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I think it's called qaylula, where he used to take a nap after Zohar Salah, for a short while, whether it's 20 minutes, an hour, you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to. I promise you, you won't get a sin for it.
I promise
So yeah,
you. And I think the main thing with that too is that cut yourself some slack by taking that
yeah,
nap, by relaxing. Cut yourself some slack. It's okay. Because in the long run of you doing this every single day for 30 days, you're going to be so burnt out by the end of Ramadan. I can't even explain it. You're not going to feel well. Then you're going to say Ramadan is too hard for me. I don't want to do Ramadan. Ramadan is hard. Whereas
yeah,
you did it to yourself, and there were better ways that you could have gone about. You want to be a fitness girly? Go after Taraweeh, but not Taraweeh is kind of late. So maybe go between Taraweeh and Iftar. If you can go
mm,
during the day, go, but don't force yourself to do too much, because that's just going to affect you. And it's just not going to be really good for your health, for your mental health, all of that. Now, moving on to our next topic, and this one really affected me honestly, because just at the beginning of Ramadan, I posted a reel and a TikTok that was me putting up my Ramadan calendar, and was like, "This is all I got. That's all the decorations I have," and the comments are going crazy to this day. I posted this on the first day of Ramadan.
yeah. I
Today we
remember.
are so deep in, and people are still fighting in the comments, fighting with me, fighting with each other, that the decorations are haram. You're not allowed to decorate for Ramadan. You're
No.
imitating, things like that.
Yeah,
So hey, it's wilding in my comment section. I don't even open it anymore because they are really fighting with each other there.
they coming
But
into.
they're not even coming at me anymore. They're fighting with each other. Like it's a whole different situation. So my question is, what are your thoughts on Ramadan decorations? Do they help create excitement for the month, or are they becoming excessive?
Okay. Ramadan decor. You know what? I don't know. I only discovered this Ramadan decor thing, I think, like last year, to be honest. Before that, I didn't know it was a thing. And no, not last year, 2 years back. And before that, I didn't know it was a thing. And so, I mean, some people just go all in. Like, there's lights from the driveway up until the house door, and then you enter in the passage and the corridor, and the stairs are lined with lights, and you've got this Ramadan Kareem little stand thingies placed everywhere on all your house heads. I mean, come on, that's a little bit too excessive. You can slow down. You don't have to go all out. I do think the Ramadan decor is cute, but let it be minimal. Let it not go to a point where, like you said, we start imitating non-Islamic, holidays and celebrations. Let it not look like, it's Christmas in your house. People walk in your house and it's like, oh my god, what's going on? What's with all the lights and all the, like, I think maybe a cute little Ramadan Mubarak, those stand thingies that they put on the table, something cute like that. You have your cute little bahur holders, and you place that in a corner here and there. I mean, that's sufficient. That's cute enough. You have your Ramadan calendar. If you get a fancy one, a personalized one, that's also okay. But now when you're gonna go overboard and excessive with all the lights, the fairy lights, the LED lights, your house literally looking like a disco. Stuff it, I don't know what disco is, but I'm just saying. So I mean, yeah, it shouldn't be too excessive. So I think I like it, but to a certain extent. And again, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I'm going to say that if you saw Mariam's, I think it was Mariam, she was decorating their house with her husband, and they were
Yes,
putting up all
yes.
the Ramadan decor, and they were just going all in with the lights. And I was like, this is a little
The
bit too
video
much.
wasn't finishing. It was lights and more lights and more lights, and they did. I
Exactly,
don't know what
more
thing coming when you came in the
exactly.
door with the. I was like, okay, okay.
Yes, you see. So I mean, in that sense, I mean, I personally feel like that's a bit excessive. But she's doing it. They like it. So I think, like, okay, you know what? When I see this, I always tell myself that, I can't wait to have my own house. I put up my Ramadan decor. But like I said, it's not gonna be excessive. Just light things. I wouldn't really go all out with the lights and the this and the that and the million pieces of Ramadan things. But it is cute. It just depends on how you do it. And also I think it has a way of bringing out that Ramadan feel in your home when you step into your home, even if it's in the morning when you wake up, or after a long day you get back home and you walk in and you see all this decor, and you're reminded that, oh yes, it's Ramadan. And it just it lightens up, and it brings that atmosphere of Ramadan in the house. And so even if there's children around, it makes the children excited for Ramadan. It makes them excited to want to fast, to set the table for iftar, to do things. So I think, yeah, it has its pros and cons. It just depends how people are
Yeah.
doing it. But please don't be excessive, because it also, I think when you do too much, it doesn't look nice. Now I think you're just ruining the whole Ramadan aesthetic.
Definitely. I think that was like most of what we said was coming from that, okay, you're doing too much, it's excessive. And then there's
Yeah.
another part of it that I think that I had actually written down, that I said, I need to mention this,
Hmm.
that in places like America, things like that, revet Muslims and stuff like that, in that setting, I think we would allow it because excuse me, in places in like, okay, let me find a way to word this, in places like America, the UK, places where there aren't a lot of Muslims, or even if there are a lot of Muslims, they're still looked down upon. It's still something that's not very out there. That the Ramadan decor is that one thing that's like, what, this is ours. And as much as a lot of people would take a Christmas point of view and use that as inspiration, but for them, it's what's helping them. It's what's helping them stay focused during the month of Ramadan. Again, without all the excessiveness, because that is going to become wasting. But for them, that's what's going to help them. And so we say, you know what, we allow it because that's what's going to make your Ramadan better for you. Maybe your, the tents they have in the corner, the Salah area, that's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
make
Oh,
it will be, love it. That will be why you're gonna go and read your Salah, because I want to go in my in my Salah corner. I want to go in my Salah corner, so I'm gonna read it there. So in that way, it's a good thing. So again, yeah, it has its pros and cons. And so with that being said, we have a comment coming in, and it says, interesting, because could we not look at that as how different people in other parts of the world embrace and celebrate Ramadan? Definitely, definitely. That I think in South Africa mainly because everybody knows Muslims. Islam is a very open thing. That's why we'd say, okay, it's fine, but it's not like this is
yeah.
what
We
we
don't
need for
go
people to
too all
know.
out.
Yeah, whereas in other countries, this is what the norm is. They do set up for Ramadan as if it's Christmas in in the driveways. I mean, it's a lot, but maybe that's just what they do in the area.
Yeah,
So as much as maybe let's take it down a notch and focus more on the spirituality part more than decorating your whole entire house or your neighbor's house in the whole yard, to just keeping it simple but making sure that the essence of Ramadan, if that's what the essence mainly is in decorations for you, you have it, but in a minimalistic or a way that's not gonna just overdo it.
yeah, sure. I think you articulated that so well. I definitely agree. If it's helping you, ease into the spirit of Ramadan, if it's keeping you motivated throughout, if it makes it better for you, if you feel like, it helps you bring in that spirit, it makes you want to engage more in ibadah, then sure, 100%. I think at the end of the day, every single thing that we do, whether you're following a trend, whatever, it all just boils down to what is your intention. What is your reason for wanting to do this? If you have sound intentions and it's purely, for it to help you, to make it easier for you, to help you, build up that spirit, then, you know, go for it. You know what I mean? But if you're just doing it for the sake of, oh, well, everyone's doing it, I also want to make my house look cute, then I mean, no, just, yeah. So intention really matters, and sincerity.
Definitely. The sincerity part mainly, yeah. Knowing that what you're doing, even if you're having your decorations up, even if you're doing all of this, but you know that it's all for the sake of Allah. Knowing where you stand before doing any of these things. It's not just doing it because it's a trend. You're not just doing it because you saw someone on Instagram doing it. You're doing this for you, for your family, for your heart. You know that's good. And moving on, we have a comment. From Hassan that says, I've stayed in Unit 2 high chats with people um, before, but moved to El Dorado Park. The dynamics and experience is way different down here compared to Unit 2. The atmosphere also plays an important role. Definitely. The atmosphere of where you are, the place where you live, plays a huge role on how Ramadan is spent in your house, in your community, and everything. I don't know, what would your comments on that be?
So, I don't live in Unit 2, but I'm very close. I'm just like on the outside. But I do pass by there here now and again, and my dad and my brothers go pray, read their salah there, do tarawih there, etc. My brother leads tarawih in that masjid. So, I think, if we're talking Ramadan decor in that aspect, right? I think if you're living, for example, in Chatsworth, in Unit 2 specifically, because it's concentrated with Makua people, you don't even need a single light to indicate that it's Ramadan, because the atmosphere in that area literally just changes. There's so much of noor in the area. Like, once Ramadan starts, I promise you, I think, oh, you've seen Eid, you haven't experienced Ramadan, right? So I think, like, as soon as you just step in, like, it's Ramadan, everyone around you is fasting. All of the men are just walking towards the masjid when you hear adhan. And like, the ladies are dressed so pretty, and they're inside the house, they're cooking, they're doing things. Everybody is just so excited for it. So it really does bring up, that atmosphere of Ramadan. So Ramadan decor is not even a thing. You don't even need to put up even a Ramadan calendar, because, the whole area, the whole community is celebrating, and they're all just involved in the spirit of Ramadan. We're all commemorating Ramadan together. So it's a really beautiful thing. So yes, 100% agree with that comment. It does depend on the area you're in and what atmosphere it creates. If you're living in an Islamic community, you definitely feel that it's Ramadan. And yeah.
Definitely. We have a message from your cousin, actually, Zain. He says, "Lol, my cousin doing the things. Keep it up, girl." So we've got that comment, and
Glad
then
say.
and then we have Hassan from our previous comment,
Mhm.
and he says, "Yes, indeed, the area says it all. The feeling and the noor around Zanzi town is amazing. We can all agree to that. It's busting up
100%.
in there." um
But
then
banging.
then we have Tanya and Lahpo says, how about broadcasting Eid from Unit 2, inshallah? That is actually a very good idea. So Salam Media, I hope you're hearing this. We need
Hope they're
to
listening.
we need
We're
to
ready. There's
broadcast
Kasim,
Eid.
there's Naeem, there's myself. We're ready to take the streets and broadcast Eid live. We're ready.
Inshallah, inshallah. Qasim says, I think I lean towards pro decorations. Would be fun for the kids and would add to the vibe for Eid. Definitely,
Sure,
definitely. Mainly for the
sure.
kids. I think that's what the main reason that a lot of people do decorations is for their children
It's
to
for
feel that
the
Ramadan
kids.
vibe, and the atmosphere. So yeah, inshallah, Eid in Chatsworth. We're gonna see it, inshallah. Make to ask that it can happen, guys. It's Ramadan.
We in.
Mean. My last and final question to you before the end of the segment is, at the end of the day, is the rise of Ramadan content online ultimately beneficial, or does it do more harm than good?
Uh, I dread the end of the segment because we'll be having so much of fun, but all good things have
Hey.
at some point. But to answer the question, I think online content, I wouldn't say it does too much of harm. I think it can do good because a lot of the times, as much as you know that sometimes they're going a bit overboard and they're doing a bit too much, but you do know that. I mean, it inspires you. It motivates you to also want to keep going. For instance, like one of the things that one of the ways in which I find it beneficial is that I see a lot of the girlies going out for Tarawih a lot these days. Every time I'm on someone's story and they're showing the masjid for Tarawih, and I'm like, woo, I have fun, I also want to go. So I think, in that sense, it builds up the thing, it inspires you to want to do things, to want to participate. If I could use that for lack of a better word, if you want to participate more in Ramadan activities, you want to do things. It helps with just so many things. Helps you with stuff in the kitchen. There's so many Ramadan recipes out there. Ideas for having a healthy and a filling suhoor. Ideas for iftar meals. Ways in which you can engage in ibadah. Ibadah is not just about salah and your fasting and reading Quran. There's so many other things. How can you do dhikr together? Like I saw a video. I can't remember who the creator was, but I think I was just scrolling on my FYP, and I just saw a video of this family. So it was a lady and her kids, and they were sitting in the lounge together, and she was doing dhikr with the kids, and it looked like so much fun. And I was like, oh, nobody really, we don't really get together, in the house and say, let's just sit together and make dhikr, together. So I think it can be beneficial in that sense, whereby it gives you more ideas on how to, make your Ramadan more wholesome, more fulfilling. So for those who want to journal, there's people out there doing content on how you can, do your Quran journaling, and it can be beneficial. But at the same time, you need to also have boundaries. You need to know, when is enough. You need to not over consume content, and you must be able to decipher between what's actually real, and don't let it get to you to a point whereby you want to change how you are and how you spend your Ramadan, or just how you live your life in general, to mirror or to copy someone else's routine, or their schedule. Just use it as a tool to help you. Don't use social media. Don't let social media want to change you so much so that you want to live your life like somebody else. Remember, your life is unique. It is perfect the way that it is. The things that you're doing right now is what Allah has ordained for you. That's how Allah had planned for you to live your life. That's how He planned for you to spend your Ramadan. And He gives us this content. He allows us to, have access to it so that we can use it beneficially and not in a way that's going to harm us. So yeah, I think I just advise everyone to just use it as a tool. Don't let it consume you too much, and don't let it make you feel like you're not doing enough. Just yeah, be very cautious with how you use your social media and how you consume the content. Set boundaries.
Definitely, definitely. Umko really set it out for us. I hope you all took in what she said, because we really need to use this and make sure that we fulfill and make the most of this Ramadan without doing too much, without being excessive, without gaining sin now for israf, for wasting. Do you know what I mean? It should be only filled with barakah and with good deeds this entire Ramadan. So we have our darling Mahdia again. She says online content isn't a replacement for actual ibadah and spirituality. I think it's a great I think it's great for the inspo, but if it's taking all your time, then it's definitely doing more harm than good. Definitely, definitely. I
100%.
totally agree with that. And I think my closing remarks would just be that, like Ummi Kulsum said, focus on the good rather than the bad that you see online, and use social media for the good things, for better things, that um you'll be able to spend your Ramadan online, but in the best way possible, rather than spending your Ramadan online, but only getting sin from it. You know what I mean? Instead of only watching things like Suhoor Fest, watching TikTok, watching, all the crazy things that you think, okay, it's Muslims doing it, so it's fine. But what the Muslims are doing isn't make sure. So let's rather watch the good things. I think from our last episode, Sheikh Umar Suleiman's series skyrocketed. Everyone's watching it now after watching the show. So watch things like that, watch 30 for 30, watch, or even just listen to bayans, things that Quran. Use your phone and social media in the best way possible. And so with that, we just have one comment that says, Mashallah, well said, Ummi. There's beauty in simplicity. And then, yeah, that would be our final remarks. Jazakallah so much to everyone for joining, for contributing, and to my darling Ummi Kulthum for joining me again this week on Trending Now Muslim Edition. We will go for a short ad break and we will be back with our last and final segment.